All righty. March Madness has
Can't
gotten
believe it.
here. The madness has begun, James. We have a bracket.
We have a bracket to fill out, Spence.
Yes, so that is what we're going to be doing tonight. We are live for the first time in a long time. This Big Game Energy, James West, Spencer Nolan, hanging out with you. We are very excited that we have the madness. Happens this week, James. What are your vibes and where does this event rank for you amongst like all the different sporting events throughout the year?
Yeah, sports. So I will say this as a sports gambler, this is number two. This is number two in sports gambling for me.
Behind the
Of
Super
course,
Bowl?
behind the Super Bowl, obviously. But I will say, sporting event, I will have to say this is top five for sure. I can't put it number two because you mentioned Super Bowl. I love it. Number one, you can never beat a game seven in MLB or in the NBA, it seems like. And of course, for me, golf, you got to have the Masters up there. And then, yeah, I would say five is March Madness just because what the emphasis brings in. But of course, this probably would be number two in my pick if it finished in March. I know you joked about that earlier.
Yeah, it doesn't really count as like March Madness, really. It's March when we get our brackets, but we're in the middle of March right now, and this tournament's going to go on for several weeks. We'll get a national champion at the beginning of April. Now, I'll say this, James. My rankings is similar to yours, but I will say this. College basketball, the sport, is lower on the totem pole for me. I love, NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, UFC. I think that's like my top sports right there, my top five.
Mm-hmm.
But college basketball is probably slotted in right after that at six. But if we're just talking singular events or singular postseasons, this one is number two for me. This is right after the NFL playoffs is the March Madness tournament. I think it's the most pure and wholesome, and it's just the best playoff system that we have in any sport. There's no other sport where it works like this, where you have this many teams all vying for a chance to be the national champion. And usually you do get, of course, there's some anomalies with this, but usually you do get the best team winning the championship at the end of it all. Who was the best? Who was the hottest? Now, James, we are going to pull up the bracket here in a little bit, and we're going to go through all of our picks. Our first attempt, right? We're going to make changes to our bracket throughout the week, but we're going to kind of vibe through it, and this will be my first entry, and you'll kind of just tell me what you think about it throughout. But James, are you the type of person that you fill out more than one bracket?
I am not. I fill out one bracket only. And if I do fill out multiple brackets, if it's like somebody's in my office, I go the same. That's what I do.
Yeah, I believe that if you fill out more than one bracket, you are a coward. You get one bracket. Now, you can change it up as much as you want throughout the week, right? You can read all your articles, do all the research, find out who your guys really you want to bet on. But as soon as brackets lock, you only get to track one bracket. I always hated hearing people be like, "Oh, I had them as an upset. I had them as an upset in one of my brackets." Don't flex to me about how you had an upset. You had the 12 beating the 5 seed in just one of your brackets. That is soft. That does not get that is stolen valor to me, calling that upset. You got to put your chest out and own it, then say that was the upset. I called it. I had it in my bracket.
Hell yeah. And that's what I'm hoping to do in my bracket is to get all the upsets correct in round one, and then everything just turmoils after that.
Yeah, and that's how it normally goes for us. Speaking of, before we pull up the bracket, if you are joining us, see a little action there on the YouTube. If you want to join our March Madness Bracket Challenge, head over to our Instagram at Big Game Energy. There's a link in our bio. It's to CBS Sports, not a sponsor. That is who we are doing our tournament challenge through. It is free to enter. The best bracket wins $200 straight up, no strings attached. However, you do have to follow us on all of our social medias. That is the catch. It's the one catch. but it's still free to enter. So just fill out a bracket and get us on all the socials. We post content every single day, all the way throughout the offseason in the NFL. We talk college football. We talk March Madness. We talk NBA basketball. We'll talk anything that y'all want us to. But make sure y'all give us some love over there as we push for 500 subscribers on YouTube.
Whoop, whoop.
All right, James.
Doing it.
Let's do it. Let's get
do
into
it.
this bracket. I'm going to bring her in. Oh, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It is truly beautiful.
Matter of fact, why don't you tell the people, man, why we don't go through ESPN, man? You like CBS's.
So let me go back here. I personally love CBS's March Madness app better than ESPN's app. I don't like using the ESPN sports gaming app very much for anything. I hate it for fantasy football and all the other fantasy sports. And I know it is one of the most popular bracket challenge apps out there. I prefer CBS or Yahoo, but no one really gets on Yahoo. But more people are getting on CBS, so I was like, I'm gonna try out CBS this year just to see, because it's not ESPN. That's really what I like about it. It's not ESPN.
Yeah, man.
All righty, let's start it off. We are going to go to the East, and we're going to start off. We're going to go through every single first-round matchup. I'm going to make my pick in each one. We'll talk a little bit about each team, and we'll do that for the entire first round. Then we'll go through and we'll actually finish out each of the regions. That's going to be how we kind of do this, all right? James, do me a favor. Keep an eye on the chat for me. I see we got a couple of comments there. Someone said nah and dipped out on us, but that's weird.
Come on, Orange Kit. Come on, man.
That's okay. It'd be like that sometimes, but I see we got some people hanging out with us as we break down the first matchup in the East, the 1 versus 16, the Duke Blue Devils versus Siena, who, let me get their mascot. We always got to put respect on their names.
You got to put respect on the name.
We got to put respect on the Siena
Bulldogs.
Oh,
crap. What a good guess. I was like, hey, this is even more fun now. We're just guessing.
I didn't know there was a guest.
Oh, no, it was a guess.
Are they really the Bulldogs?
Oh, man, I thought you saw that. No,
I don't know.
I see the logo.
Quick Google.
Look
it doesn't have it on in my article.
They just said, sorry, Sienna, you can't even put your name out there, man, because you know you're gonna get beat.
Oh, they are not the Bulldogs.
They are the
disrespect. They are the Saints.
Wow, I would have not
Siena
guessed.
Saints.
Wow, Siena Saints. That looks like a bulldog on their logo. But okay,
it does.
Keep it rolling.
James, do you have any feeling that this could be a 16 beating a 1 seed here? Duke, to me, has looked like the best team in the country for a while. They're the number 1 overall seed in the entire tournament.
Yeah.
What say you?
Vince, I'm not going to lie. I think Siena is going to not do this, man. Let's just get this out the way. Cameron Boozer, man, could be the top pick, could be the best player in this whole bracket, and Duke has just been nonstop, like runaway train. They should finish. They're at a 29.5 point favorite, Spence. They should get beaten down, the Siena Saints, by 36.
Yeah, there's no doubt this is going to be Duke winning by multiple dozen points. It's going to be an absolute blowout. What's the line right now, James?
29.5 Duke favorite.
Yeah, we're betting Duke on this one. Duke is going to be a team, just spoiler alert, I'm going to have them going very, very far in my bracket. I just think they have been so elite this season, and they are just a couple of last possessions of the game away from having a perfect 34-0 record, but slipped up twice, but tons of impressive victories. You mentioned Cameron Boozer, obviously their best player. I'm really starting to like John Shire. This isn't the same Blue Devil team that Coach K had back in the day. That it always felt like they were douchebags. I'm sure some people still will always hate on Duke, but I actually like John Shire a lot, and I think this Duke Blue Devil team is going to go very, very, very far. So I've got them winning round 1. All right, let's go to the next matchup. It's the 8 versus 9 seed. By the way, just to set the stage, me and James are live reacting to these bracket matchups This is really the first time we've seen them all. We knew brackets came out a few hours ago, but I have intentionally not been looking at them because I wanted to live react with James and all of y'all hanging out with us right now.
Yeah, I don't even know who's in. We're gonna just see it and we're gonna just boom.
We're going to see it and react accordingly. So now we have the 8-9 matchup in the East. It's Ohio State versus TCU. James, what do we have the line here?
We have Ohio State as a 2.5-point favorite. Now, this game is in South Carolina, so no real home court advantage in this game, but still interesting line. You know, these 8-9s are always going to be nitty gritty depending on, either the skill play. As you can see, both of these teams sort of similar in the rankings. So this is going to be a good game. I'm going to lean TCU on this game just because their record may say that, but I feel like they play in a tougher conference than the Big Ten. And that's just me personally. I think TCU is a very, very good team.
Yeah, I'm actually leaning the other way on this one. This is always a matchup number that I go back and forth on, the 8 versus 9.
You're going to flip it back and forth. You won't even know by
yeah,
Thursday.
Exactly. I don't know what I'm going to end up. Right now, though, I'm going to put in Ohio State just because I like the shooting a bit better than what I've seen from TCU. TCU, yes, played in a much more difficult conference, top to bottom, than Ohio State did in the Big Ten. The Big 12 was an absolute gauntlet this year. Some of the most elite teams in the tournament played in the Big 12. But that being said, TCU is still a team that lost early on in the Big 12 tournament. We're talking about a 22-11 team. And yeah, they play a lot of great defense, but I want the team that shoots the ball. And Ohio State, when they get hot, they can really shoot it lights out. All right, moving on, 5 versus 12. And this is always a dangerous one. So let's talk about this one at length. James, St. John's, the 5 seed from the Big East, is playing the 12 seed Northern Iowa. What do you have the line at, James?
When I hear that Northern Iowa team, Spence, it reminds me of when they played that A&M game many years ago, and I'm just like, oh man. But right now,
the Panthers, by the way, the Northern Iowa Panthers.
Panthers. Okay, there we go. We're getting a little bit better. If we went from missing it from, yeah, never mind.
We're on it now.
We got Rick Pitino. We got the St. John's team minus 11.5 in this game. Now, of course, they just won the Big East. Rick Pitino, the only coach to win 5 conference championships with 5 different teams. Spence, GOAT status in college basketball. This game is in San Diego. Now, last year, the St. John's team could not shoot a lick, and of course, it hurt them as they got down to the to the Elite 8, Sweet 16 area. But I'm gonna go St. John's, man. I'm not playing around. I love Rick Pitino's team. I think they are aggressive, and I hope they can get to the Elite 8 this year.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna pick. This is gonna be one of my first upsets, and I don't know where I'll go back and forth on this one, but I am gonna pick Northern Iowa to win this game. I'm gonna pick them to upset St. John's. Why? Part of it's because of Coach Pitino. I know he's one of the all-time greats. He's got 2 national championships, 7 Final Four appearances.
Dude, don't do this.
He just hasn't been there in so long. And last year, they lost in the second round, the round of 32, because they just went ice cold from 3. And this is a team that I could see them going super cold again. I don't know. They just don't seem to have the same magic that those Louisville teams that Rick Pitino used to coach. I'm not a believer in the Big East this year either. So I think Northern Iowa is going to be my first upset pick. We're only in game 3.
Game 3 already out of the gates. Okay, man. Let's get it going.
All right. Let's move on then. The 4 versus 13 seed. This is Kansas versus the Cal Baptist. James, what do you have the line at?
Oh, man. I don't know, Spence, if you saw the highlights in the Cal Baptist, how they won their conference championship to get here. Man, totally incredible way to win. I thought they were going to lose for the longest. They are a 13.5-point underdog. Kansas. Now, Spence, I'm not going to lie. I'm not saying this is the upset of the year for me, but if there's one thing I love seeing eye tests, And I don't know if Darren Peterson's going to play after the second, after the first half. So can Cal Baptist like get some shots up, maybe make it competitive? I don't think so. But the game is in San Diego, so a little bit of a home court advantage from Cal Baptist. But hey, Bill Self better get this through, man. I think this is an easy win for them. They should be easy, but it seems like when it comes to putting that ball in the hoop, Spence, anything can happen.
That's right. It's the madness. I'm going to pick Kansas in this one, but this is not one I'm going to feel confident about. After Darren Peterson, Kansas is full of very inconsistent play at the guard spot. So I love the talent there, and Bill Self, been there, done that. And he is someone, unlike Rick Pitino, who has won this recently. The Athletic is giving them a 53% chance to make it to the Sweet 16 and a 5% chance to make the Final Four. I'm going to go ahead and pencil in Kansas, and we'll come back to that one to see where they end up from there. Speaking of Louisville, we talked about them a little bit already. Louisville is the 6th seed playing South Florida, the American Conference champions.
Hell yeah.
James, who you got in this one? What's the line?
This is my upset. This is my first upset. Give me South Florida. They are a +5.5 underdog. I like this team a lot. I know Louisville is probably the better team on paper, but you know me, man. You gotta find the diamond in the rough, and I feel like that is South Florida. They have won 5 straight, so let's keep that ball rolling. And this game is in Buffalo, New York. I don't know what that means for either of these two teams, but hey, man, let's get it going.
Yeah, I like that. Both these teams, gritty. And I really liked what I saw from South Florida today. I actually was at the gym catching the end of the American Conference Championship between South Florida and Wichita State.
Yeah.
And South Florida, they were dominant in that game. So I'm going to ride with you on this one. I'm going to go with South Florida as well. All right. So I got 2 upsets already in this bracket. All right, let's go. Tom Izzo, the 3 seed Michigan State Spartans, taking on North Dakota State from the Summit Conference. James, what's the line?
Michigan State -16.5 points. Big favorite. And of course, I don't blame it. Hey, this game's in Buffalo, New York. Tom Izzo, how I know they wear green, but this is a blue blood. And man, I don't see North Dakota State doing it, man. I gotta go with Tom Izzo. I feel like these coaching stuff matters, but I'm gonna go Tom Izzo, man. Let's keep it rolling, Spence.
Yeah, I'm with you. This one, Tom Izzo is not someone I ever think will lose in the opening round of the March Madness tournament. When he has a team that's a good team, I don't see Tom Izzo losing in the opening weekend. I think he's going to punch his ticket to the Sweet 16, but we'll come back to that one in a moment. 7-10, the UCLA Bruins taking on UCF from the Big 12. James, I bet this line's going to be an interesting one. Where is it sitting right now?
Yeah, so this is not as close as you thought. Central Florida. Too many Floridas. God dang, we're already talking. Central Florida +6.5 underdog. But this is where I'm riding. I'm going Central Florida. Like, there's something about that UCLA team that is so inconsistent for me that I think, Central Florida can find a way to steal a victory. I know they haven't played their best coming to the tournament, but that's okay, because in all honesty, hey, in my eye, UCLA has to travel all the way to Philadelphia. So let's try to get something out of this.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I will tell you this right now. I'm going to pick UCF, and I'm going to lock them in right now. This is going to be one matchup I'm not going to sway on this week because I can't stand UCLA's head coach, Mick Cronin. I think he is a complete jerk. And I would love nothing more than, after all the drama that has been surrounding him and his program this season, it would be a beautiful way for him to go out this season, just a nasty upset in round 1, losing to the 10 seed. And you mentioned it, UCF in the Big 12. That's a tough conference. They are battle tested. They have some impressive wins on their resume. Yeah. They also have a lot of big blowouts to really quality teams. But I don't put UCLA in that same hemisphere of some of those teams that were taking out that UCF was having to face in the Big 12. So I'm going UCF.
Yeah.
All right, and rounding out the Eastern region, we have UConn versus Furman. James, I don't know if you remember, but Furman is a darling of yours and ours.
It was that one year back in the day versus Virginia, and it made us look beautiful. But they playing UConn, man. Let's move forward. Let's move forward.
Yeah, I'm not betting against Danny Hurley. He's a crazy person.
Yeah.
He will get it done. I'm going UConn in the first round.
UConn 14-0 against the spread their last 14 games. I'm not betting against UConn to lose.
All right, let's move down to the South, and this one has some interests for both of us, and we'll get to those as we come to those matchups. But the first one, we have the Florida Gators, the number 1 seed of the tournament. I'm sorry, the number 1 seed of the region. They are going to either take on Prairie View A&M or Lehigh. James, either of those teams spark inspiration to pull off a upset.
Man, no. No. I know it's hard, we don't want to be the Mr. Obvious. No 16 seed will ever win. Of course, we've seen it twice, but Florida is another animal. I'm not.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I don't think I'm going to fill out a March Madness bracket every single year because it's one of my favorite things to do, like we talked about it at the beginning.
Right.
I don't think I will ever fill out a bracket where I have a 16 seed beating a 1 seed ever. I don't think I'm ever going to be the guy that called it because it's just so stupid if you don't get it right. You just look so dumb. You're a legend if you get it right? If you had Farley Dickinson and then who is it?
UMBC.
UMBC that upset Virginia. That's it. Those are the only 2 teams that have ever done it. All right.
The Labradors.
I don't ever feel so strongly about a 16 seed that I'm going to be the guy to call it. I'm happy taking my L on that ones, but you can always pencil in the 1 seeds on my brackets.
Correct.
All right, let's go to the 8-9 matchup in this region. We got Clemson of the ACC taking on Iowa, an 8-9 matchup. James, where does this one currently sit?
We love the 8-9 matchups. This is also, again, Clemson, a 2.5 point underdog. Iowa's already went up 1 full point from 1.5 to 2.5. This game is in Tampa. So this is going to be fun. I'm not going to lie. This is me, Spence. I'm going Clemson. You see that record with Iowa in the top 25. I get it. They probably lost all those games, to big teams in the Big Ten, but let's just move on with Clemson. Usually I like these matchups because I like the 9 seeds, but I'm going Clemson on this one.
Yeah, I'm going with you as well. That 1 and 8 in the top 25. I know they had a good showing in the tournament, in the Big Ten tournament to at least get a nod in here.
Nod.
But yeah, I'm going with you there. I'm going with Clemson. All right, number 5-12 in this is the Vanderbilt Commodores, runners up in the SEC tournament. They're taking on McNeese. James, McNeese, we got Oricon. He is back.
Oh my
he will
gosh.
be in the building for this matchup in the South. But James, do you think McNeese does it again? Do you think they pull off the upset in the first round?
Man, just because I saw it, as soon as I saw that they said he's back, come on, Vandy. Let's get him packing, bro. We got to get this guy packing. Vandy, 11.5 point favorites in this matchup. Now, McNeese does have a lot of steam coming in, winning their last 5 games. Of course, Vandy pulled off almost the remarkable, in the SEC tournament. But this game's in Oklahoma City, so let's see, man. Let's see what these guys got. I'm going to go Vandy in this one. I feel like this year, Spence, and I don't know, maybe I could be wrong. I seem like these 5 and 12 seeds, the point spreads are really, really high this year. I don't know what. I just feel like other years we have a 5-12 to be like 5.5 points. And it's like, okay, we are going with the 12 seed.
The 12th seed every single year is so dangerous. But this year, I think Vanderbilt, this is a really, really strong 5 seed in my opinion. So I'm with you. I'm going Vanderbilt. I'm sorry. Shout out to our McNeese State friends. Shout out Johnny if he's hanging out. I know he actually. Fun fact, James. I don't know if you knew this. He's actually a part of their social media team, so he'll probably be there on the sidelines. I think he actually told me he's going to be there on the sidelines. So we'll have to keep an eye out for our boy Johnny.
I hope he does. I hope he doesn't post this clip and put it on McNeese social. Like, yeah, I don't think this team's got a shot. And then, well, you know what? Hey, good publicity, bad publicity.
We'll take the negative comments in our on our videos telling us how stupid we are. We will take it. All right, we will take it. All right, James. The Nebraska Cornhuskers are taking on Troy in the 4-13 matchup in this region. Nebraska is a team that you have some rooting interest with, James. Who you got in this one?
I'm going to go Nebraska because of the rooting interest, but this would be the 13 seed I pick. If I had to pick one,
Ooh.
This would be mine. One thing about Nebraska, I feel like, and this is going to come off bad as an analogy. I feel like Nebraska is like the New England Patriots, won a lot of games, and it's just something about them that just doesn't feel right with me. I hope they prove me wrong, because of course my father, rest in peace, he'll love this team going down, freak it to the Sweet 16. But I'm going with Troy to cover the spread at 13.5. But this would be my team I would pick if it wasn't for Nebraska playing.
Yeah, I'm going to go Nebraska on this one for a lot of the reasons you said. Troy also, I just don't see, like in the Sun Belt, they weren't challenged much, and they got blown out by Kentucky last year. I think we get more of the same this year. 6 versus 11, we have the North Carolina Tar Heels taking on VCU. VCU is a team that historically makes a lot of noise in the tournament. They have a very high net rating. James, what's the spread on this one?
The spread is North Carolina -2.5. Put VCU onto there. Put VCU. We're not getting Caleb Wilson. We know we're not. So every game is a toss-up with me. UNC's been injury-prone most of the season, but without Caleb Wilson, put VCU up there. That is disrespectful for the users. 29%? Like, I'd have been okay if it was like 60-40. Like, okay, fine. But damn, 29% VCU. Come on, VCU, move over.
Yeah, I'm with you. I got VCU moving on. All right, let's go to the next one. 3 versus 14. We have Illinois taking on Penn. This is the Ivy League team this year, is Penn. Now, James, the Ivy League nerds every single year
do something.
They do something. They make things interesting, but Penn is not one of those teams that we typically hear a lot from. Illinois definitely had stretches this season where they were the best team in the nation you could make a case for.
Right.
Where do you see this one ending up, James?
Yeah, the last time, Spence, I was actually, and I don't know if the seeding was 3-14, but I remember watching Princeton live beat Arizona in Sacramento, one of those big Ivy League teams beating a team like Arizona. You're right. I haven't heard nothing from Penn. I ain't heard anything from Penn since the swimming controversy. I'm not going to dive into that. But, man, let me get Illinois. I ain't playing around. Give me Illinois. Illinois, 23.5 point favorite.
Yeah, 23.5 points. It's not happening for the Ivy League nerds this year. But they are someone that a lot of times the Ivy League team is a team that gets picked a lot in brackets. So I would advise those picking this matchup. Let your friends in your tournament challenge, let them be the ones to pick the nerds. Let them pick the Ivy League team. You just roll with Illinois and the chalk.
Yeah. All right. And even one more fact. Sorry, Spence.
Go ahead.
I mean, if you want to bet Penn, dude, bet Penn to cover the spread. They're 18-9 as a spread team, 8-2 the last 10. But don't pick them in your bracket. Just cover the spread. Move on.
All right, 7-10 in the South is St. Mary's taking on the Texas A&M Aggies. The Aggies were an SEC team. They were I believe they've lost in the quarterfinals of the SEC tournament. But you can see they are pretty battle-tested, good net ranking. Do they have what it takes to pull the upset here, James?
No. A&M, you pissed me the F off losing by 20+ to Oklahoma. I had you in as like you're a bubble team, you should make it, but how you performed? Hell no. Give me St. Mary's, man. I always trust St. Mary's. Ever since Patty Mills and them boys, I I always trust St. Mary's over everyone. They'll be fine. They'll be fundamentally coached. I like St. Mary's to go through, and St. Mary's is a 2.5-point favorite.
Oh, okay, we like that. It's a slim margin there, and I think that's just got to be because of SEC play for Texas A&M versus what St. Mary's had to go through.
Yeah. There'll be a lot of A&M fans. This game's in Oklahoma City, so we should expect a lot of A&M fans.
Yeah, but I got the Gales in that one as well. And final matchup, my Houston Cougars. They 2 seed. They are taking on Idaho.
Hey, man. Idaho, they ain't got no shot-a-ho in this game, bro. Yeah. Give me U of H. Super dominant team. One thing about Houston, we joked off air a little bit. I will always bet Houston to go very far in these finals because, of course, coach is a phenomenal team defensively, pressure-wise. They should have won it last year, man. I don't care what anyone says. I don't want to bring up bad memories. But, hey, man.
So painful.
I will say, man, hey, Idaho's won 5 straight, bro. They might get these 6, bro, if they even got – Idaho, you just shoot the – Never mind. I don't want to go this far.
I can't think of the last time a 15 seed pulled the upset. This one happens occasionally, though. It's not super common, but this one is a little.
I'm trying.
You got to come correct, but I can't think of the last one. The last one I want to say.
I remember
Duke.
Missouri. It might have been Duke. I remember the one team, Missouri. They were a 2 seed. They lost to a 15 seed. I remember their coach. I forget his name, but he used to coach Miami. That's the only reason why I knew that. But you might be right about Duke. They might have been the last, but I remember Missouri when they were a 2 seed. I think they lost to Norfolk State, I think.
Well, we're talking about it. Here it is. It is Princeton, the Nerds.
Oh, it was
2023.
Oh,
they defeated Arizona 59-55. Before that, it was St. Peter's beating Kentucky.
Oh, wow. So I was at the 2 and 15. I don't know why that was 3-14.
It's happened 11 times all time, though. Houston, Kelvin Sampson, they are not about to be number 12. I'm going Houston.
Yeah, let's move over.
All right. Top of the bracket, we are going to the West. James, Arizona taking on LIU. Now, the LIU has been a fun story, but Arizona has been one of the most dominant teams in the country. What's this line at right now, James?
This line is, I'm just going to tell you, it is gross. Just because you mentioned I know even with these games, I'm not going to lie, Spence, I don't like betting these high lines just because of, I don't want to bet on the backdoor cover. So these games I usually bet on like, hey, just Arizona score the living points out of everything. The spread is minus 30.5. I think you hit the mute button.
Arizona, yeah, I did. Arizona has been so dominant, and LIU has been a fun story. Fins up, but it ends early for LIU and the Sharks. We're going Arizona.
Correct.
All right, 8-9. Villanova versus Utah State, James. And 8 and 9 matchups are always tricky. I think I'm leaning towards Utah State on this one because Villanova this year was just very, very, very disappointing. What's the line looking like right now?
Yeah, so right now you can get some lines. Right now the majority is at minus 2.5 Utah State, but there is +3 for Villanova on Bet 360. This game's in San Diego. I'm going Utah State as well. Just because the trip for Villanova. Now, of course, if I'm forgetting homeboy's name, Jay Wright. If he was still coaching, I'd probably go Villanova. It's just one of those things.
Yeah, they've had a lot of disappointment this year. They scratched and clawed and kind of crashed and burned to get to the tournament. So I think Utah State, Mountain West teams have a bad past in the tournament, but I think Utah State. I think they do enough. I think they'll shoot the ball well enough that they'll be just fine, and they'll get it done against Villanova. All right, 5 versus 12 in this region. Wisconsin Badgers versus High Point. James, what's the line on this one? Could this one be a 12 versus 5 upset?
This one is our one closest upset. It's still a lot of points, 10.5. But we definitely got to go High Point, man. We got to go High Point.
Sell me on High Point for a sec.
You know what, man? Hey, look, you see it right there. They won their last 10 games. I'm going through it. No, I can't sell you anything after that. This is just vibes, man. After that, man. I mean, look, offensively, hey, they score. They're really efficient. I will say, offensively, scoring as it has third in points, 49, seventh in 2 point percentage, eighth in field goal percentage, 62 in 3 point percentage. Maybe can they shoot the lights out? I don't. Let's see. This game's in Portland, Oregon, so this is a travel for both teams. Um, I'll definitely go the under in this game, but this is probably the game I'll probably hit the high point spread at plus 11.5
All right,
if I get it.
I'm gonna put High Point down for now.
Yes, there we
For
go.
now, okay.
Spence, it's hard to convince. You know what I mean? It's just you got to vibe
Yeah,
check it.
yeah, for sure. And the vibes will change throughout the week. Again, this bracket I'm setting right now, if you're just joining us, this is the first attempt, right? This is my one and only bracket, but I'm going to make a bunch of edits to this between now and Thursday. I'm going to read more articles. I'm going to do some digging. I'm going to watch some film. And meanwhile, there's going to be someone else that's just like, oh my gosh, they have a great color scheme. And they're going to pick them to win. And that's going to be the person that wins the bracket challenge. Speaking of, if you're joining us, we have a Big Game Energy bracket challenge. The link to the group is in our Instagram bio. But make sure you are following us on Instagram and TikTok as well as subscribe to us here on YouTube. That is the only way you're eligible for our $200 cash prize. Ooh. Contest is free to enter, so go get us on Instagram to join. All right, James, this one's going to be a quick one for me. Arkansas, the 4 seed versus Hawaii, the 13th seed. I am so impressed with Arkansas right now, James. They won the SEC tournament. Darius Acuff looking like a bona fide superstar in the making. He translates very well to the NBA level. He'll be a top 5 pick. This is the 1 year he's playing for Arkansas. I do not see them losing this game.
Yeah, whoever's funding, I know the NILs, them Tyson chicken nuggets, or however they prep them nuggets before the game for the SEC tournament. Let's move Arkansas over, man. Arkansas has been impressive. I cannot deny it. They might be my team to win it all, Spence.
All right. 6, BYU is going to be taking on either Texas or NC State. James, where is this one sitting right now? Do we have a line on this one? Actually?
No, we don't. We don't have a line, obviously, because Texas is in the first 4. But the line for Texas to advance is versus NC State. They are a 1.5 point favorite. So it could be NC State, could be Texas. That game is in Dayton, Ohio. So I'll probably go NC State because one, who the hell likes Texas? Horns down, mother. But
that's how it rolls here.
But even then, even if NC State makes it, hey, there's some use of words I'd love to say about our guy AJ DeBansta. Let's just say that move it over, BYU, bro. Move BYU over, man.
Yeah,
that guy is my guy. I'm just gonna say it like that.
Yeah, he's very much looking like he's going to be the first overall pick now that teams are kind of souring on Darren Peterson for a variety of reasons, and DeBonsta just keeps balling out. I don't know if I'm going to have BYU going very far, though, James, but I definitely think they get past the 11 seed, whoever it ends up being.
I will be watching. I'll be watching BYU probably more than anyone, probably.
All right, Gonzaga, the 3 seed, taking on Kennesaw State of Conference USA. James, what's the line on this one?
You know what? I don't even care what the line is. You said Kennesaw State won Conference USA, which should have been god dang Liberty, but Liberty just had to freaking choke. 19.5 point favorite Gonzaga. I know we joked about Coach Few and few of these. They're going to find a way to get past this one. I can't see Gonzaga losing this one.
Yeah, as much as I want to have a spicy, like I want to pick the 14 seed Kennesaw State because I'm not a big believer in Gonzaga usually, but I can't do it. That might be one I come back to an eyeball later this week, but I'm not doing it right now. We're putting Gonzaga through.
We ain't doing it right now. But guess what? Guess what you will say? Hey, you see BYU versus Gonzaga. Few of those. BYU on to the next, bro.
We'll come back to that one in a moment. 7-10 is Miami versus Missouri. ACC versus SEC. James, what's the line on this one?
Yeah, this one is actually one of the close ones, one of the tight ones. But hey, it's all good, man. Hey, Miami sports. Hey, in the national championship one year. This year you're in the March Madness this year as well. Miami 1.5 point favorite. I'm not gonna lie, this is a biased pick for me. I'll probably roll with the Canes just because of the turnaround with Coach Lucas. He has made this team really, 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 really watchable. I know a lot of people probably go with Missouri just because SEC, SEC. This ain't football, man. Move Miami over, Spence.
Man, I'm actually not going to. I'm going to put Missouri in for now. I'm going to need to do a little bit more research on Miami, but Missouri, I like the SEC bias here. And look, when we're looking at how they've played this season, I'm always looking at teams that played well throughout their tournament, played well throughout the season, and Missouri's been a little up and down, but Miami's been a team I've just, maybe it's just narratives, but I've just heard how disappointing they are, James. It's hard for me to pick them to win this one.
I know it can be disappointing, but I mean, you mentioned Missouri. They've lost 3 in a row. Like, why not pick Miami? I mean, Miami lost to Virginia, who now I might have Virginia going to the Final Four possibly now out of all teams. I didn't think Virginia was that good, even though we'll get to them later.
Yeah, we'll get to them in just a sec. Last matchup in the West is Purdue versus Queens.
All right, Spence, hold up. Before you say anything. Now, we always hate Purdue. Well, we don't hate Purdue. We just know Purdue's the biggest choker out of some of these teams.
They do it a lot.
But Spence, be honest with me. And I found this out earlier, and I was shocked. Where do you think Queens is? Where do you think Queens plays basketball?
I would assume in Queens, New York.
Hell no, bro. They play in North Carolina.
Okay. Well, I still thought it could have been New York because they're in the Atlantic Sun Conference.
No, but still, I thought the same. I was like, oh, Queens, New York. And then someone popped it up and said they actually play in a 1,500, capacity gym in North Carolina. And I was like,
of course they do. Yeah. Hey, Farley Dickinson, those type of vibes. I'm going Purdue, and we're going Purdue confidently on that one. All right, last region, the Midwest. Michigan will take on one of the 16 seed playoffs teams, either UMBC, remember them, or Howard. James, do we see more UMBC magic this year, or does Michigan continue to dominate?
Look, I'm going to say it like this, Spence. We want UMBC to make it, because if Howard makes it and then Michigan beats the brakes off of Howard, I don't want to see people on, social media saying a PWI beat on a HBCU. So let's get UMBC, let's get the Labradors in, and let's get the Wolverines making it through pretty easy.
Yeah, I was going to say, where are we going with this? Yeah, we're Michigan all the way through. Like I said, no 16 seeds will be winning on this bracket. No. All right, 8 versus 9. We have the Georgia Bulldogs versus St. Louis. James,
Yeah.
I bet this is probably going to be yet another 8-9 matchup that's kind of a coin flip. What's the line at right now?
Yeah, it is another coin flip. I'm actually been more surprised with Georgia's basketball team this year. Usually they're not known for playing basketball. I know Anthony Edwards, but this is a 2.5 point favorite Georgia team at the 8 seed. This game's in Buffalo. I'm going to go St. Louis. That's just me. I know it was a heartbreaker for St. Louis, and how they lost to Dayton, and hopefully that doesn't roll into Buffalo and they're just all eerie dreary. But guess what? St. Louis, bro, you could say you beat Georgia, dog. Not a lot of teams ever beat Georgia, and I don't care if it's basketball, baseball, football, water polo. Yo, you beat Georgia, bro. Hey, let's get it, St. Louis. That's who I'm rolling with.
You say that, James, but Georgia has not won a game in the NCAA tournament in almost 25 years. So I'm rolling with you. I'm rolling with St. Louis. I don't think this Georgia team's got an Anthony Edwards sitting on the back burners waiting to be unleashed. So I'm going with St. Louis. All right, 5-12 in this region. Texas Tech taking on Akron. James, 12 versus 5.
Yep.
Do we want to do this?
I'm doing this. I'm going the +7.5 Akron, the Zippies to make it on by and zip by the Texas Tech Red Raiders. I know that'll make some of our friends upset. But this game's in Tampa. Tech has been on a losing streak as of late. Lost the last 3. Of course, Akron won, the MAC. So booyaka. I know it wasn't Miami of Ohio, but hey, the Zips. I like the Zips. Hey, why not, man?
Yeah, I'm also going with the Zips just solely because of something that Texas Tech couldn't control, and that was losing their best player to a torn ACL, JT Toppin. When he went down, in my opinion, there went Texas Tech's chances of contending in the tournament this year. You can see one of the toughest schedules in the entire country this year. Did pretty well with it, a 22-10 record, 12-6 in the Big 12. But without their best player, it's really easy to see this team, if they go down by 8 to 10 points in the second half, it's really easy to see a team fold like that. They do have a good coach. I like Grant McCaslin, 4-3 in the NCAA tournament in his career. He's been there, done that a little bit, but I think, again, I want some upsets in my bracket. We don't just go all chalk. You can't go all chalk. I'm going to pick the Zippies to get it done. All right, James.
Zippies.
Your true love.
Oh,
the Alabama Crimson Tide. Roll
Tide. Roll them boys on. But this would probably be the one team that would lose. I'm not going to lie. They'd find a way to shoot themselves out of the game. Everything with Bama. Live by the 3, die by the 3. They can score the point. If they hit by the 3, they're going to score 90 plus. You can see what they average. They average 91 a game, but look how much they give up. So they shoot poorly.
Yeah, I think that's the Nate Oates special there, James. They love to just get out and score. So I'm rolling with the Crimson Tide here. Hofstra, thanks for coming out. We'll see you next time. 6 versus 11. We have Tennessee taking on either SMU or the Darlings from the MAC that everyone told me how great they are and they deserve to be in the tournament.
Yeah, a couple people say you didn't know ball.
I don't care, man. They lost. They did exactly what I said they should not do. They lost their opening game in the quarterfinals of the MAC tournament, and so they get in as an at-large bid as the one of the final 4 into the tournament, and they will be playing on Tuesday and Wednesday. I forget which one they're scheduled for, against SMU. I don't expect Miami to win, and if they do win, this is going to be another one of those flashy picks that people see the record 31-1. Oh wow, they've only lost one time, and it was again in the MAC tournament. But they had a 245th easiest schedule in the country. I know they're dropping buckets, but this is a team that has just barely been scraping by. They could very easily have been closer to like 25-7, and a 25-7 team that didn't even win the MAC, they wouldn't be in the tournament. So I'm picking the 6 seed Tennessee, but I don't. If I could pick that Miami doesn't even get to Thursday or Friday, I would.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. I think SMU beats them. It shows they're already a 9-point favorite. You mentioned this Miami team is somehow find a way to get the schedule merchant through. Even if they were to win, and everyone's going to throw the money on Miami, Ohio, let's be sharp bettors, and let's just go Tennessee. Let's move Tennessee over.
All right, we got Tennessee moving on. We got 3 more matchups of the first round. Next one, 3 versus 14. We have UVA, Virginia, taking on Wright State, the Raiders, James. The Raiders. Give me a line on this one.
Yeah, so Virginia minus 18.5 point favorites. I like Virginia. I'm moving them over. I'm moving them over. I know Wright somehow finds a way to get in this tournament as a low 14, 15 seed. It's one of those, hey man, thank you for coming out tonight, man. Even though they won, they won their last 5 and Virginia just lost, but I like Virginia actually a whole lot. It really impressed me beating the crap out of Miami. And yeah, I'm moving Virginia over.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to go back and I'm going to pick a 14 somewhere to beat a 3 seed or a 13 to be a 4 seed. I'm going to go back and add some of those upsets. I don't think I've picked a 13 or a 14 to win anywhere so far.
And it's gonna happen.
I'm gonna pick at least one somewhere, and because they happen every year, at least one. I just got to figure out which one's gonna be my darling. I don't know which one that's gonna be right now, though. All right, 7 seed Kentucky taking on Santa Clara from the West Coast.
Oh my gosh,
James, tell me about this matchup. What's the line?
Kentucky minus 3.5 point favorite. This game is in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm not gonna lie, Spence. This is the one team I'm gonna bet against. I'm going Santa Clara. This is,
Me too, man.
I heard all year this team paid so much and they couldn't even do this, do that. I didn't even think this team even was gonna make it. Losing 3 out of their last 5. Santa Clara, I feel like can keep up with this team. Maybe offensively they may not be the best, but at the end of the day, we're going with the upsets. These are the upsets I usually pick a lot. Are those 10-7, 6-11, 10-7, 6-11? When we get to the 5s, man, that's where I struggle.
Yeah, I'm with you here. I'm going Santa Clara. I think for me, like you said, Kentucky's been a very disappointing team in terms of all the talent that they have. Mark Pope really hasn't made his mark there as a Kentucky head coach. Could we see him on the hot seat if they lose this game? Potentially. I'd say it's possible.
It's possible.
They don't have a true point guard, and that's another thing, too, I really look for with the teams I'm picking in March Madness. I love teams that have great guards. Guard play is so important in March Madness. You have to have someone that can control the floor, set the offense up, get everyone in their spots, and move the ball around. It all starts with a good floor general. Kentucky not having that has hurt them. They've been playing below 500 for the last month. I'm going Santa Clara. And the final matchup, the 2-seed Iowa State Cyclones taking on Tennessee State from the Ohio Valley Conference. James, this one's probably going to be a blowout. What's the line?
Oh, man, this line is huge. I didn't even want to look at this line because it's just so huge. But I like Iowa State. I like Iowa State a lot. Of course, I know you will as well. Man, why can't I not find it all of a sudden? Iowa State. See, that's why it doesn't matter. Because Iowa State's going to be, I think they're a 27-point favorite. Let me double check. I'm scrolling so fast. I might have slipped by. You know what? I can't. Why can't I find this, Spence? This is poor. This is poor.
That's okay.
Okay. 25.5. There, I was close. 25.5 versus Tennessee State. We're rolling with the Cyclones. I think.
Wow, I just lost all my picks.
Wow, look at that.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. But guess what? You know what that means? We finished our round 1s. And guess what? You have to be back for next week.
Yeah, we'll call it there, actually, I guess, because I don't want to go through and try to figure out which ones we all did. But there is the entire first round. We went through it all, James. We got done in about an hour. That's pretty good for us. We'd be yapping too much. By the way, just to put a pin on Iowa State there. In fact, actually, I will hang on. Let's bring it back up because I do just want to point one thing out. Iowa State. I always like to look for teams in March Madness. They shoot their threes. They make their free throws, right? Those two things I love looking at. Iowa State, elite making three-pointers, right? Shooting around 39%. They are elite. Mm-hmm. Their free throw percentage, they are one of the worst teams, not just in the Big 12, where they were the worst team in the Big 12. They're one of the worst free throw shooting teams in the country. So Yikes. If it is a close game with 2 minutes left in the game, and it's close, and there starts to be foul competitions, and we start shooting free throws, Iowa State could be on upset watch. If I was going to pick a 15 seed, I'm not, but if I was going to, it would be the 15 seed Tennessee State to upset Iowa State, but I'm going with, like I said, we're going with Iowa State here.
351st in the nation shooting free throw. Who the hell they got on their team? All Shaqs? What the?
So, James, first look at the bracket. What were some of the ones that you feel like you want to do some more digging on? Like, what are some of those teams, just looking at it in a glance right now, what are some of the teams that you're like, I need to go back, I want to do some research on them?
Yeah, the ones I'll probably do a lot of research on, and hopefully I keep my pick. Of course, the Santa Clara pick for me, the 10-7, the Akron pick, the 12-5. I know you mentioned, Texas Tech best player being out. Those are ones I'm looking at. The one I will probably look at the most, and it just depends on, is the Alabama game, just because I do feel like Alabama can be that team that if
Hofstra.
they just shoot poorly, like it can be a game, and I might pick, you know, Hofstra's, point spread because of what Bama lives and dies by. I feel like I'm watching the Rockets in a way with the D'Antoni system. But other than
3
that,
is more than 2, man. It
yeah,
is.
it just is. Yeah. Other than that, nothing else I see off the tip of my tongue because everything else I feel pretty confident in. Hopefully, it'll probably be the High Point one
Okay.
for me.
Yeah,
today.
High Point, I'm going to do some digging on them. And then some of the 13 and 14s, I need to find out about Kennesaw State. I want to find out more about them. And then I need to find more about Troy out as well. I want to see if I really am going to pick them to beat Nebraska. I'm going to lean towards it, though, James. They might be the one I do it. But
They might be.
March Madness is here. We have brackets. It is a great time to be a sports fan, a college basketball fan. So, again, before we wrap it up, make sure if you want to play March Madness Tournament Challenge with us, it is free to enter. Make sure you go over to our Instagram at Big Game Energy. The link to our group is there. To be eligible for the cash prize, you have to make sure you are subscribed to us here on YouTube. You follow our TikTok and you follow our Instagram account. You do all those, you have the best bracket. You're taking home $200. And I'll be honest with you, we're not the biggest channel. So right now, there's only like 5 or 6 entries in there. So get your name in there. And and you might have a really, really good chance at just pocketing $200.
Winning $200. Hell yeah, man. Why not do it? Hey, right now, like you mentioned, you have a 20% chance to win $200. You could steal money from me and Spence.
Yeah, and let's be clear on this too. And I want to say this right now, James. We haven't really talked about this, but if me or James win this, since we are both putting the money in for the pool, basically, if here I win, the other one is paying them. Basically, how that's gonna work.
Basically,
right? 'Cause I'm gonna keep my 100, and you gonna pay me your 100 if I win.
Hell
That's
yeah.
how it's gonna go.
That's how it's gonna go.
That money.
That's how it's gonna go. All I know is, hey, if I win this bracket, my number one goal is, guys, remember this: it's not to have the best bracket. It's just to have a better bracket than this idiot over here. That is the goal. I think I did it last year. I think I did.
No, you didn't.
Oh, do I have CT?
No, you
Is that what
didn't.
it is? Oh, okay.
No, but remember, I don't get to flex it that much. Remember, I came in third in our group, but I did beat you and Giselle because I called it from the beginning that Florida would beat Houston in the national championship. You were ahead of me for a long time, but I did correctly pick Florida over Houston because I'm a masochist, and I knew that Houston's team last year was good enough to get all the way there. And they got there, and I was like, but it's Houston, so it's always got to end in heartbreak. And that's exactly what happened. And I got to say, I predicted it perfectly. It didn't make it hurt any less. That is still one of the most devastating losses I've ever had to deal with. But
that's devastating.
It's a new year, baby, and my Houston Cougars are in it, and there's a ton of other teams. 68 teams all have their eyes on the Natty at the beginning of April. So get in on the Big Game Energy Bracket Challenge. Go over to our Instagram at Big Game Energy. Get the link in the bio. Fill out a bracket. Even if you don't watch basketball,
Fill
out a bracket. What do you have to lose? Nothing.
Yeah,
So,
I told my wife, fill out one. She was like, I don't know anything. You could win us a date night, bro. You got just fill it out.
my girlfriend's going to fill out one as well. So for James, I am Spencer. We'll see y'all next time on Big Game Energy. We got uploads coming all week long this week, so y'all stay tuned for more. Until next time, later.